Now, beyond political, social, economic rights, human rights also entail the progressive realization of the structural social determinants of well-being, such as, of course, your access to basic human services like clean water, food, as well as a healthy environment. However, these are not today's realities. For the most part, many are still struggling with these very basic needs, and for them, democracy is still a pipe dream and a reality most will never experience due to many challenges that the country still finds itself grappling with. And in a time of hope for change, they can only wait their turn for luck to locate them. Now, these are just some of the concerns raised by Professor Sethulego Matebesi, Associate Professor and Head of the Sociology Department at the University of the Free State, who joins us now. Prof, happy Human Rights Day to you. Welcome. Thank you so much for your time. Now, you wrote a very interesting op-ed titled Human Rights This and That, Whose Perspective Matters? And I suppose this is a crucial aspect, right, Prof, as some still feel that they are excluded from all the glorious gains of this democracy.
Hi, good afternoon, Bongwe, and good afternoon to the viewers. Yes, indeed, we still have to find a way where South Africans from the racial spectrum can interact with each one another without being labeled. And we all know the freedom of association is one of the fundamental human rights that we have in this country, but it seems as if some activists does not want that progress. And that's why I say with our collective agency, we need to take a stance because if you look at South Africa and many other countries of the world, they've done a lot to ensure that we do have the institutions that will promote human rights, but at the end of the day, and even the policy and legal environment that is conducive to enhancing human rights. But at the end of the day, there's also a responsibility upon citizens to ensure that they promote and protect what we have achieved in South Africa.
Prof, very interesting. I mean, you speak of those activists who actually purport to be defenders of rights of the oppressed, which are mostly black, and the anti-transformation forces that stall to move the country forward towards an inclusive and egalitarian future, Prof. So society, however, will not want to openly call out the latter in fear of being excommunicated or cancelled for their wokeness, so to speak. So how will we ever then reach a point of ethical as well as truthful engagement that is geared at finding those amicable solutions for all? I just spoke to a former apartheid activist there. He says it's about time that we actually had those intergenerational conversations, as bad as they might be.
Yes, no, we need to, and that's why I think we should not also, give up on this new generation, which when they wake up, I often call them the glass-breaking generation. There's a generation where when they wake up, if they don't see glasses being scattered around, it does not fulfill them. They don't feel fulfilled. And it's very unfortunate, but it's also because of a traumatic past that we have. We had a so-called feast must fall era at our tertiary institutions. Some of the leaders of these feast must fall movements have not yet learned that, that is in the past, let's move forward. But what I wanted to touch on is that how can we bridge the gap? It's where the individual citizens take a stance to say, I acknowledge what happened in the past in South Africa, but if I want to work with my black or white counterparts, I should not be labeled as a sellout, because that is very unfortunate. And that is the weapon that some of these activists use when they see unity between different races. And we don't say people should not air their views about injustices that is happening in society. But surely we should also move forward to build a kind of society, not for ourselves, but for our kids, to embrace the democracy, to embrace diversity, and then enjoy the fruits of this democracy that so many people have lost their life.
Yes, absolutely, Prof. Now, it is an election year as well, hotly contested. It's been touted. What is your message to those who are tasked with the responsibility of championing the needs as well as rights of the people of this country and lifting those who still suffer from the grips of poverty and inequality 30 years into our democracy?
A very good question. And just to take off, I think for the past 3 decades, we have been celebrating our political leaders to the extent that they strongly believe that they are demigods. That's why you still have leaders who will come out publicly and pronounce to say, if it doesn't go our way, we are going to take arms and believe that there won't be any consequences. I strongly also believe that because it's not our duty to encourage people to vote for party X or B, but people should not be misled by political leaders who fuels violence. We should celebrate our diversity, ethnic diversity, cultural diversity, racial diversity, but we should not be misled on the basis of our diverse nature. In fact, we should embrace diversity, and that should push us to have one common vision for South Africa. Very difficult, but we all know there's only universal principles of human rights, and that is freedom of association and to allow people to live, and many other, principles of human rights that we all understand and that we should respect by all means. And I think that is what the kind of culture that we need to inculcate in our schools and in our families so that they can advance the principles of human rights in South Africa and beyond.
Once again, happy Human Rights Day. Professor, thank you so much for that input. Professor Sethulego Matebesi, the head of the Sociology Department at the University of the Free State.